Right now, almost every message you send, every video you stream, travels not through the sky, but along a glass thread thinner than a garden hose, resting in total darkness on the ocean floor. Here is exactly how it happens. We call it the cloud. The word feels weightless, wireless, floating somewhere above us. But there is no cloud. There are cables, over 1 million kilometers of them, crossing the deepest trenches on Earth, carrying the entire internet between continents. Satellites handle barely a fraction. The real work happens down here. A single fiber optic strand, no wider than a human hair, can carry hundreds of terabits per second, enough for millions of calls all at once as pulses of light. It begins on land, in a quiet building near the shore. The cable comes ashore here, then runs out into the surf, buried beneath the beach, vanishing into the sea toward a coastline thousands of miles away. Out on the water waits the cable ship, a vessel built for one strange purpose: to lay a single wire across an entire ocean. In its belly, the cable is coiled by hand into vast circular tanks, mile upon mile of it. As the ship crawls forward, the cable feeds off the stern, sinking slowly into the deep. In shallow water, a sea plow rides the seabed, cutting a trench and burying the line to hide it from anchors and trawling nets. The pace is brutal in its patience. A few kilometers an hour, day after day, for weeks. Every meter must lie flat. Too much slack snags. Too little, and the cable stretches taut over a canyon and snaps. And once it's down there, the danger never stops. The seabed is not empty. It's a battlefield of ship anchors, dragging nets, shifting sediment, and the occasional curious shark, drawn to the faint electrical hum. Most breaks come from us, an anchor dragged across the wrong patch of seabed, a fishing trawler scraping the bottom. In an instant, a country's connection can flicker, slow, and in some places, simply go dark. Then there are the forces we can't blame on anyone. An undersea earthquake triggers a landslide of mud racing down a slope and snaps a dozen cables at once, cutting whole regions off in a single violent breath. And increasingly, the breaks aren't accidents. In tense waters, cables have been severed near where warships and shadowy vessels linger. A wire on the seabed is a target, silent, unguarded, and devastating to lose. When a cable dies, alarms ring in a monitoring station on shore. Engineers measure the exact distance to the fault by timing how light bounces back from the break. Somewhere, hundreds of miles out, the world has come apart. So the call goes out to a fleet most people never knew existed. The repair ships, a small global flotilla on standby year-round, waiting for the moment a wire fails beneath the waves. The ship races to the coordinates and drops a grapnel, a heavy hook dragged slowly along the seabed until it catches the cable. Then, from depths of several kilometers, the broken line is hauled toward the surface. On deck, in the spray and the cold, crews splice the fragile fibers back together by hand, aligning strands of glass under a microscope. One clean join, sealed and tested, then the mended cable is lowered back into the dark. It can take days, sometimes weeks, in storms that toss the ship like a toy, and while they work, traffic is quietly rerouted through other cables, so most of us never notice the world was ever broken. So that's the truth behind the cloud. It isn't in the sky. It's a web of fragile glass on the ocean floor, guarded by a handful of ships and the people who quietly keep the whole planet talking. The next time a page loads in an instant, remember the wire in the dark and the vessel out there waiting. Stay with us. The systems running your world are stranger than you think.